John Feinstein just said that he felt like it could be a trap game for Washington. Little Hail Mary hangover, if you will. Facing a Giants team that they beat by a field goal in the first game. I was reading something from Giants Wire, and the article was titled Reasons for Optimism in Week 9 for the New York Giants. First, they harkened back to the last game, which was 21-18, and they didn't have their kicker, Graham Gano. So they scored 3 touchdowns, and they went for 2, I think, on all of them except for 1, right? I feel like they let the punter try 1 kick, and he missed an extra point, if I recall, and then they went for 2. But they didn't convert any of them. So the 3 reasons that they have that the Giants should be optimistic are, number 1, they say it's a favorable matchup. They say New York's offense has struggled over the last 3 weeks, but they scored 3 offensive touchdowns against Washington, something that they've only done twice. Number 2, we talked about this earlier when EB was leading Hit the Skins, their red zone defense. Say bad news is Commanders had their way getting down the field at will, but the red zone defense shut them down, and the Commanders are just 24th in the league in red zone offense. And number 3 is just their pass rush, that their pass rush has been playing at a historic level. They lead the league with 35 sacks, sack rate of 13.31%. They've got the sack leader in their nose tackle, Dexter Lawrence. Last week, Jaden Daniels, well, not last week, the first matchup, Jaden Daniels sacked 5 times. So they believe they can get to the quarterback. Do you believe this is a trap game? If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067, or do you think Washington should roll against an inferior opponent that has won just twice this year and doesn't score much?
I don't know if they'll roll. I don't know if they're going to win 31-10. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people might think. But I think that Dan Quinn and Kingsbury and the rest of the coaching staffs, Joe Witt, they will have this team focused, even though last week was such a high.
I don't think you're going to see them come out flat.
I mean, it could be a lower scoring, tighter game, but I think they'll win the game. Because I think that Dan Quinn and especially the veterans on the defense, the Bobby Wagners of the world, they know how big division games are.
Both teams are bad at stopping the run. They're basically a yard apart. And I'll lean on the team with the better rushing attack, and that's clearly the Commanders. Now, Jaden Daniels isn't 100%, so I would guess – I think if the hamstring doesn't flare up for Brian Robinson, I think it's a big B-Rob game. I think this is a game where he gets 18 to 20 carries. They try to lean on him, try to keep the Giants off the field in that aspect.
Well, if Tyrone Tracy and Singletary are both available,
yeah,
and Singletary is, but if Tracy, that's a pretty good tandem.
It's a viable group, but I still give the Commanders.
I mean, I'd put them up there with B-Rob and Eckler.
But I think the wild card is Jaden.
Of course.
Because he can go out and rush for 75 yards, and I guess Daniel Jones can do that. I don't know if he will do that against the Commanders' defense. So I give the lean there, rushing attack, to the Commanders.
I mean, I think we're a better team, but I don't think it's a trap game. I just think it's going to be a tough game. And I don't think that our guys are necessarily going to fall prey to a so-called trap game, because I do think maybe for the first time in a long time, we got a bunch of guys in there that take it seriously. They're not jaded. They don't care about the camera attention. I know Jaden's that way. I know Bobby Wagner's that way. I don't think Frankie Louvu cares about any of that stuff, right? So I just think it's a veteran team that's aware of the trap possibilities.
Sure.
But I just think it's going to be a tough game. We got 2 kind of mediocre against the run defenses. I do think that our rushing attack is probably better on the whole, especially with Jaden. But who's going to cover Malik Neighbors? They targeted him 18 times last time.
I mean, I don't
I'd
know.
put Sanders still on him.
Maybe.
Or maybe they double him a little bit.
If Neighbors is healthy and is out there for the whole game, he's going to get his. He's going to have like 8 or 10 catches.
Right.
That's the sort of impact that he's going to have. Here's where the Commanders do have a big edge on the Giants. Turnover differential. They're +4. The Giants are -3. So it could come down to, if the Commanders take care of the ball, they should be able to, I don't want to say eke out a win, but get a win on the road.
They don't force many turnovers, though. A lot of the reason that turnover differential is so great is because Jaden doesn't turn it over.
But that's fine. I don't care how it happens. They've gotten to a +4, and the Giants are bad at keeping the ball.
But we are trending in the right direction.
Advantage
We're
Commanders.
starting to create some turnovers. Not a lot, but we're starting to create some in the last few games. And I do think that I watched Joe Witt's presser this week, and he talked about how, every week he talks about, and a lot of guys talk about communication, and how well they communicated on defense. They were basically flawless last week. And that's why really the only one big play that was kind of disappointing was the Swift play. And that wasn't a miscommunication. That was just a guy didn't set the edge right or whatever the hell happened there.
And Swift is quick.
Yeah, and it just, it got away from him.
Yeah.
But as far as communication goes, I also thought this was interesting that everyone talks about Jaden being there every day, all the time, early, They say Bobby Wagner's the same way. Bobby Wagner's there on his off day, all day. The coaches come in and have meetings with him. And then Wagner has the linebackers come in on their off day, and they spend a few hours coaching film. They trust him so much. He's literally a player coach that Witt said, hey, if I'm not getting the call in quick enough, you just make it. And 4 times he made it by himself. And he said, I trust him completely.
Yeah.
And he made the right call.
He'll be a
4
coach.
times.
He'll be a defensive coordinator down the road somewhere.
Yeah.
If he wants to be.
If he wants to be, yeah.
800-636-1067. We'll take your calls here momentarily. This is a very simplistic take, but I kind of believe in it. Washington's averaging 29.5 points per game. That's 3rd in the NFL. And if you actually break it down, EB says, and I agree with them to some extent, that Kingsbury kind of figured it out in the middle of game 2. A lot of sideways passing in the first game.
He let
then
him
he kind of
go.
unleashed the offense. If you eliminate the first 2 games, they're actually averaging 32.5 points per game in the
Even
last
with
6.
the dud last week.
Even with the dud of 18 points, because they ripped off 38, 42, 34, 23, 40, 18.
Right.
That's the last 6 games. Cakes mentioned this before. The Giants score 14.6 points per game. You're basically scoring double what the Giants do every week. Now, it's a division game, and they played
But
the
if
3
you have
points.
no one that can cover Neighbors, and they don't appear to have anybody that
They've
or
had
a scheme.
Neighbors. I know he missed a game or 2. They've had Neighbors the whole season.
Yeah,
They
but
don't
other
score.
teams were probably better in the secondary.
They don't score.
Okay, but
To be fair, he did miss one game with at least
did.
one game with a
That's
concussion.
what I said.
I think it was
Yeah.
1.
yeah, I'm just saying maybe other teams have better corners.
I think Washington
better-
just got too much offense, and that's why I think they'll roll to an extent. The definition of roll, I don't know, but I feel like it should be a comfortable win for Washington. Let's go to the phones.
All right, let me see here. Let's go to Eric in Lanham. It's your hood there, Lurch.
That's right.
Eric, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, junkies?
What's
My
up, Eric?
first time calling.
Thanks, buddy.
What's up?
Hey, I don't think this is a trap game for us. I feel like they said we had plenty of trap games because they wasn't expecting this much firepower from us. So nah, I don't see this as a trap game. They said the Bengals was a trap game, and they said we had plenty of trap games, man. I'm not worried about the Giants.
All right, so you think it's going to be an easy win or tight?
Easy win. I say over a touchdown or more.
All right.
All right. I hope that's the case. What's gonna?
I would like to know how the Bengals was a trap.
I don't know. Nobody really expected
Maybe
the
he was
Commanders to go on the road
confused.
and beat them.
Maybe. Was he
Like,
say,
the Bengals-
maybe
That's
is
not
he
the
saying
definition.
it was a trap game for the Bengals?
Well, if it was, then that
Yeah, okay.
came to
So maybe he's
fruition.
saying it was a trap game for the Bengals, and so he's saying
Yeah,
like,
that's probably
you're
what
not
he
getting
meant.
credit for it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's saying. Everybody was saying the
Because it
Bengals
couldn't
game
have been
was
a
a trap
trap
game.
game. He didn't mean
Couldn't
that.
mean for us.
Yeah.
A trap game for them, and so people didn't want to give us
I think
credit.
he said everything was a trap game for us.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right,
By the
let's
way,
go.
there's controversy brewing between Brian Dable and Deontay Banks, the Terp cornerback. He was benched in the game against the Steelers. So maybe if he's out there covering Terry, he's kind of a volatile guy. Like Terry, I think he and Terry have gone back and forth. Banks has had some stuff he's done on Instagram where he's like kind of killed the Commanders for not drafting him. I think that could be a good subplot for the game. Like if Deontay Banks does something stupid, Terry McLaurin does like a double move on him for a long touchdown. Like there could be some fireworks there.
Remind me
between
what the
those
back
two.
and forth was. What's the background on the Dable Deontay Banks?
Well, he benched him for I think not hustling on a play, like trying to tackle Jalen Hurts in the Eagles game, and also with Najee Harris, he couldn't chase him down So he benched him in that game in favor of former commander Greg Stroman, I believe. That name's kind of stuck in my brain.
All right, let's go to David in Fredericksburg. Hey, David, what's up, buddy?
Hey, EB, Junks, how y'all doing? I'd like to get you excommunicated from the Redskin Church.
Why?
Like you want to have, I'll give you 3 reasons.
All
You can even make it the poll of the day. You want me to start with number 1 or number 3?
Whatever you want, buddy.
All right, I'll
See
go
how
with
long
number
you
3
last
first.
here. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we'll see. You said the Redskins were Deadskins in the 70s. We went to the Super Bowl in 1972. We went to the playoffs 6 years in the 1970s. You said you want to get rid of the number 2. You want to get rid of the "We Want Dallas" chant. I was at the stadium when we did that. When we played Dallas.
When did I say that? Years ago? I mean, you're really.
No, last week. No.
Did I
All
say
of this
that?
has been the
You
last
remember that?
couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you mean like saying that
didn't
this?
wanna
Oh, you
poke
mean
the
like
bear.
saying that this
You said
year?
you didn't
Yeah,
wanna
I don't
poke
want
the
to
bear.
taunt. Listen, I don't want to taunt anybody.
Oh, come on. You're not a Redskin fan.
Come
if you
on.
if you want to get rid of the "We Want Dallas," are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
I just
Now,
don't.
this is
I
the
just don't
work
want to
right here.
taunt any potential opponent.
Come on, you're not a Redskin fan then. The "We Want Dallas." There were shirts out. You talk about a shirt. Everyone had "We Want Dallas" shirts. You're not a Redskin fan. Here's the number 1, ED.
Yeah, I want to hear this one.
2, when Dallas played Giants on Thursday night, you said, and I quote, "Cakes, who do I root for in this game, Dallas or Giants?" You're not a Redskin fan if you're asking that question. Hey, JP, make that the poll of the day.
He's calling out a
He
fan.
asked that question.
He's saying that.
Ask that
Why?
question.
Hold on. I don't
You're a
even
Redskin
understand
fan.
why that's funny.
No.
He's saying that because you always root against Dallas.
He's saying you shouldn't root for. I think
Yes,
he's
you
saying you
always-
shouldn't
if
for
you're a
either
true
of those
Red-
teams.
Well, I don't think. I think both of them are kind of. I look at them equally. Sorry.
No, you're not a Redskin fan then. Your 2 favorite teams should be the Redskins and whoever's playing Dallas. That should
I
be your
guess
2
I don't
favorite
think
teams.
that way. I guess I don't think that
Well,
way.
then you're not a Redskin fan.
No.
Keep
I'm just
thinking
not
keep
stupid
thinking
like
you're a
you.
Skins fan.
Oh, here we go.
Not one-dimensional like you.
Oh, I'm one-dimensional. You're the one that walked by my grandson at the Nats game when you had your friend, your cousin Vinny, and your other cousin Vinny sitting with you and D. And he asked for an autograph, and you walked by. D's like, "Eric," and you just kept walking. So
I'm
who's
sure I
one-dimensional?
didn't see it.
He's got terrible hearing,
you
so he probably
kidding?
didn't
So
hear
you're
him.
saying-
When
hold on.
James Wood was getting ready to bat, he left the game. He went there to see James Wood bat.
Right.
And he walked by me, and I said, "Hey, Woods is coming up." He ignored me. My grandson said, "Hey, how about an autograph, EB?" Kept walking.
This guy.
Do you remember
This
that?
guy's got an axe to grind.
Wronged
This
him.
is
Do you
personal.
remember-
This
This
is
is
a
a personal
personal
thing.
Yeah.
Do you think honestly?
Yes, he remembers. Yes.
No, hold on.
He was
Hold on. Do you
sitting
think
down-
I
he wasn't
honestly?
sitting
Hold
next
on,
to
David. Just slow down for a
his cousin
second.
Vinny and his other cousin Vinny.
All right. So,
All right, you already
Do you
used
think
that joke.
Do you think I honestly blew off his grandkid? Do you think that there's a
Yes, you
planet?
did.
Do you
Probably
think,
not.
So
do
you think he
there's
actually
a
heard him?
planet where that would occur?
you think Bickle heard him?
He held out his shirt, the James Wood shirt that you thought you were too good to get at the front gate.
yeah.
They were giving away James Wood shirts, and you said, "I don't need one of them." He held it out with the
That part I
Sharpie and said,
believe.
"EB, can
This
I
guy's
get an
got-
autograph?"
he does
And
have
you
you
kept
down.
walking.
Go ahead. And you think Go ahead.
He said, "Eric,"
Do you remember that at all?
and you kept
No.
walking.
Oh.
Zero.
He doesn't remember.
I
I
just
don't know if
don't
he's
think- I don't
lying.
think-
Missed James Wood's first at bat. I remember.
Because I think I went back and got food because we could. It was packed, and we came in there.
Yeah,
The
and
whole
I
deal
said,
was I wanted to show
Woods
them
is
and get
coming
them
to bat.
food. I know I did. I talked about it on air. I missed his first at bat because we were out there. We were drinking at Circa, and then we went over there to get the free meal in the friggin' suite thingy, whatever that's called. What's
It's
that?
a
The
Terror
club.
Club.
You
It's
went
very
to the
fancy.
game to watch James Wood.
I went to the game to hang out with my friends.
Vinny
It
and
so-
Vinny,
It
yeah.
so
His
happened.
cousin Vinny
Vinny
and other cousin
and-
Vinny.
Yeah, it so happened to be James Woods'
Did you
debut.
sit next to Vinny and Vinny?
All right.
Did you sit next
No,
to him?
D did.
And this guy's got all of your moves.
I don't
down.
know. I don't remember exactly who I sat next to.
Oh, come on. You were on your phone.
Come
and
on.
Dee sitting there entertaining the two guys. She entertained me walking up the steps. She looked very good in those khakis.
I honestly,
That's a compliment.
I just want to say this for the record. There's a 0.0% chance I blew off a little kid that wanted
Were
the
you drunk?
attention.
Were you drunk?
No.
EB, he was
Zero.
sitting on the aisle. I said, "That's Eric Bickle." EB from the Junk. I know him. I said, get your Sharpie. And he grabbed the Sharpie. You come
He's
walking
lying.
Up.
This is not a real thing. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's not a real thing.
Hey, did he ask your grandson to polish his World Series ring?
Good one, Valdez.
He said, EB, how about an autograph? And he's sitting right on the aisle.
Yeah.
You walked right by him.
I don't think
said,
I was
"Eric."
sitting on the
Yeah,
aisle.
here's where
actually.
I'll defend EB that maybe he just didn't hear your grandson.
I mean, there's just no
Like, he
chance
would not-
I would.
he would not
there's
just
no
shun him
chance
and not-
that would occur.
and not sign his
Call D.
promo shirt.
Right? Are you kidding?
Are you
Call
that?
D.
Are you
What?
that big of a jerk?
He
You'd
said,
blow someone
Eric,
Do you think that's true?
off? I don't know. I didn't think about that about you until today.
Right. All right. I might vaguely remember him saying something to me as I was walking back and forth,
Okay, yeah.
but I don't remember any kid
Now,
coming up
David,
to me for a
here's
thing.
another angle. EB's not a very good listener, so your grandson may have said something to him, and he just didn't hear him.
I mean, there's.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a
but
chance?
if you heard him, you would have signed his shirt.
Do you think? Have you ever seen me blow off a little kid?
Not to my knowledge.
We
no.
all love kids.
He said to you, Eric, you looked back at her and she pointed and you kept walking.
I don't know what she was pointing at then. I probably thought she was just bugging me like she always bugs me.
She didn't bug me in them khakis she was wearing.
No, I don't even,
The second
I
Packers
don't even know
reference.
what he's talking
Hey, look
about.
at this guy.
Man, he's all over the place.
He's got designs on your wife.
All right.
Peace and love.
All right,
Peace
thank
and
you,
love.
David. Whatever.
Thank you guys. Eric, you're not a Skins fan.
Okay. All right. Hey,
After
will you? Should I?
20th of
Will you call
October,
the
do
off
not
air?
send fan mail to any address that
a
you
great
have.
bed.
Nothing will be signed after the 20th of October.
After 31st of October.
Will you
Peace
ask,
and love.
will you
Peace
ask
and
her?
love.
Can we get Dion next segment?
She doesn't like to come on the air. Ask her off air. You could
Why
talk
don't you just-
for her.
why don't you just
You
text
could
her?
you could
Well,
talk
by
for
proxy.
her. You know what
By
I'm saying?
proxy.
No, I mean
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it like by proxy. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you ask her the question, you respond.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Peace and
Ask
love.
her if she remembers me blowing off some kid. It's like it's never happened.
I want to ask you about them khakis.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
All right, we got the lines locked and loaded. We'll come back, take more of your calls. What do you think happens on Sunday in the Commanders-Giants matchup? Are you afraid it's a trap game for Washington? All right, that call has a lot of people fired up. Drab said it was the call of the year. Why? Because it was attacking EB?
Yeah, just someone
know.
piling on me. By the way, did you call Dee and ask her? Did we just call her and ask her if she remembers any of that?
I know. Can you send me the phone number?
You don't know my phone or her phone number?
I
All
only
right.
have your mommy's number.
Hey, Mojave.
All right.
All right, but let's go to the phones in the meantime while we're trying to figure out if the guy was just making stuff up or it was true.
All right, let's go. How do I give you the number? Here, she's texting me right now.
You share
about
your
something
contacts.
else.
He did overuse it, but I did like the Vinny and his cousin
Vinny and
Vinny
Vinny.
joke.
Cousin Vinny. and
It made me
Cousin Vinny.
laugh.
All right, so should I go to the other guys while he's trying to figure that out? Let's
Yeah.
go to Vern in Laurel. Vern, what's up?
What's up, Junk? Can you hear me?
What's up, Vern?
Hey,
What's
bud.
up?
Ain't nothing, man. This is Cole from the phone, man. Whoever answered the phone put me in this burn, man. But listen, I do think this week is a trap game. If you look at the history of the NFL, teams don't lose, consistently forever every week. Giants back is against the wall. Only way I see us winning this game is Daniel Jones give us this game, and he's on the bench and on the bench for the rest of the season. We lose this game, and I also think we lose next week with Pittsburgh, and then after that we win the next four. What do you guys think if Jay Daniels is in the body bag game? This game is tough. What do you think about sitting them for next week, getting them ready for Thursday and our next upcoming game? 'Cause
What
we
are you
got 3
talking about?
games
What?
in
Unless
14 days.
It's crazy talk.
Thank you,
You're
buddy.
Not, you're not
Thank
going to
you.
sit him unless he's injured, unless he
Never.
can't play. Well, I mean, that's just insanity.
Which is the one he wants to sit
He
out?
wants to sit him for the Steelers game because that's a third or hold on.
'Cause
That
we have-
game's Sunday.
That's a Sunday, and then the following game is the Eagle game, which is a short week.
Correct.
That's a
I think
Thursday
if they
game.
were going to ever sit him, they would have done it last week.
Right.
So unless he really aggravates it,
Because he thinks
needs to
that
go.
obviously the Eagle game being a division game
More
more important than
important.
the Steeler game.
Right.
But no, he's not going to sit unless because every game matters. The overall record matters
That's a horrible
because
plan.
that's not going to happen. Unless
I
it's
would
banged up.
say that on paper, if someone looked at this from afar and they don't know the team, well, they would look at it and go, yeah, that's a trap game.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think this staff and this group of players on any level is going to overlook this game.
no chance.
So we may lose, But I don't think it's going to be because we slept on them and we were out partying, like at Portis'
they'll be
house or
fully
something.
prepared for the Giants. I mean, Jaden even said when people were asking him about the Hail Mary, he's like, I'm on to the next. I'm already preparing for the next opponent because that's what I do.
Did you talk to D? What'd she say? Here, hold on. Drabby just talked to D. You could have done that on air. It would have been more funny to do it on air, just to hear your voice. All right, what did D say, by the way?
All right, D says that you definitely missed the bat and you guys walked off together up the stairs to go get food. She does not remember someone trying to flag you down for an autograph.
Right. That would never happen.
He was embellishing.
And was she wearing khakis?
Did you ask her if she was wearing...
Of course I asked her.
Right, and what'd she say?
She said, I don't think I even own khakis.
And that's what I said. The guy's just doing shtick.
He's just making stuff
Now,
up.
the other thing that did bother me, though, the most important thing that bothered me is that he was right. We were more successful in the 70s than I remember, but I wasn't born in the 50s and 60s. We were terrible. That's probably when that nickname really came about, if you look at it. And so maybe in the 70s when I was a kid, people were just still referring to him as the Deadskins.
Can he
from
get
the
past
60s.
it? He's talking about something that happened
I know, but
5 or 6 decades
he's
ago.
making it sound like I made up the name.
Right.
He was debunked.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
He was lying the entire time.
Right. All right.
He was
Thank
doing
you.
shtick.
Does he even have a grandson? I don't know. Everything's
He probably does.
I do agree with you. We won Dallas is kind of nubs.
I just think. Well, I just don't want to
understand
incite anybody. I don't think you know what I'm saying?
No, I understand the history of it and how it was kind of a seminal moment in time. And if you were there, it was probably awesome. But to constantly ask for somebody to play them,
it did make
kind
me
of
laugh,
nubs.
though. A listener tweeted at BK Adams 23, quote, I don't want to taunt another team, end quote. Sends gift basket to Bears for drafting Caleb. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but they're not rivals. I mean,
And that was a bit.
Not like the Cowboys or the Giants,
Yeah.
but that's pretty
They
funny.
could be rivals.
in the future. It could be like a new thing.
Caleb v. Jaden. Yeah,
But
for
can't
the
you
next
only
decade.
play him like once every 4 years or whatever it is?
Well, if you see him in the playoffs all the time,
yeah,
you can develop a rivalry, a healthy rivalry.
All right, let's
But
go.
I would say, particular for that question, who am I rooting for? Cowboys or Giants? You would obviously root, especially this year, for the Giants because you know the Giants overall aren't as good as. So Dallas would pose more of a threat in the division.
Week 2. That was week 2.
I get it. I get it. But you kind of knew the Giants weren't going to be a division
But also,
winner.
the correct answer is you should never root for any other teams in your division. That'd be like Valdez rooting for the Bengals or the Steelers at some point.
If they both,
which makes no
if they
sense.
both play, depending on when it is. If it's in week 1 and there's no history, and we need one team to beat the other team more than the other, you would root for a tie. You root for a tie.
Well,
if it was week 1, and they played each other, I would root for a tie.
But if it's week 16 and the one game mattered for the division,
and Pittsburgh is 6-2 in the division, I root for the Bengals.
Of course.
All right, let's go to Javon, Upper Marlboro. Javon, what's up, buddy? Is that not working?
Hey, good morning.
Hey, bud.
Hey,
good morning, Junkies, man. I love the show, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Listen to y'all every morning, but
Thank
I
you,
just
sir.
don't call in because I forget. I believe that every divisional game is a trap game. I'm not afraid of this weekend, but I believe that every divisional game is a trap game.
Why?
Because look at the years that we've been trash, which has been 3 decades pretty much. All of those years, we found a way to beat other divisional teams sometimes that were better than us. You know, so just because we're better this year doesn't mean that other teams aren't motivated in our division to the game with something to prove. That's always the case when it comes to division games, in my opinion.
All right. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but
I don't know. Trap games, to me, are defined as traps because you're kind of overlooking them.
yeah, I mean, this is on paper.
You're not overlooking division games.
Yeah. This might on paper just because of the lopsided records and the momentum and everything that we have.
Doesn't mean they can't play poorly, but I don't think they're.
It won't be because we overlook
If anything,
them.
you're up more for your division games than some of the other games on your schedule.
Sometimes you're going to lose games even if you're the better team. We saw that last night. The Houston Texans, now they're banged up and there's some issues.
But
But the
much
Houston
better
Texans
record.
are a better team than the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Jets drubbed them last night. Happens. It's the NFL.
Right.
So if they could lose the game, that's why I thought last week was big because I feel like they banked to win, and at 6-2, you can afford. I'm not saying you want to lose this game, but you can afford to lose this game. It's no big deal. You're still in the playoff mix at 6-3. Don't want to lose it, but eventually you're probably going to lose a game that you expect to win. They're not going to win out. We know that.
You do?
I think we know that they're not going to win out.
I like your optimism.
I
You
like
see
our
15-2 as a possibility?
No, but I just like us kind of every week.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel good about sort of most of them.
Yeah. I think, in Philly's going
It's
to be
the
tough.
Jaden effect.
I mean, I feel like they're all possible.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all
I think the
possible.
Steelers
but you
are gonna
know,
be
you're going to win them all.
But you're going to drop
Probably
a few.
going to stub your toe
Yeah.
a few times.
Just hope it's not this week.
Yeah.